wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WUB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WUB. And all the things that will feel happen like I got blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WUB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. You can tune in from work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. It's a time calling, it's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WUB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WUB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WUB. And all the things that will feel happen like I got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WUB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for Monday, the 11th of November 2024. Wherever you are, we hope that your morning is beautiful as it gets started. Your health is great. Your energy is high. Your vibrations are positive, and that you've got enough room and space to be with us, spend quality time. And when I say us, what I mean Creme Radio, XTV. You know what we do early mornings. We bring you WUB Wake Up Belize. Wherever you are, you're getting up and celebrating your new day. Give thanks, always. Right now, we start off, firstly, welcoming everybody to the house, whether you're listening to Creme Radio, watching XTV, got us on your apps, the devices, or you're getting us via social media streams. It's good that you're finding multiple different ways to get your content this morning. Welcome to Facebookers. And of course, YouTube people, we emphasize we need to just do a couple of things for you, free of cost. Not charging you, and it's not going to be any great inconvenience to you or disturbance or anything of that nature. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's an act of solidarity, and that's kind of like making this relationship official with your WUB folks. Right now, I'm Mose Hyde as the host. You are the listener, viewer, and hopefully the participants as soon as we have closed off the preliminaries, because that's how we start. We got the warm-ups, which means we've got to look at your latest available weather information, courtesy to the National Met Service, and after that, we've got your morning news. So firstly, the forecast. What is today going to look like? And that information comes to us from the National Meteorological Service, and we've got forecaster Ronald Gordon, the head guy from the Met Office, to tell us what kind of weather we can expect today.
Good morning, Belize. This is your morning weather report. As from the National Meteorological Service, generally fair weather conditions are expected to continue over most parts of the country. This means mostly sunny skies today with some cloudy spells and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated except over inland and southern areas this afternoon and early tonight, where we expect a few more showers and isolated thunderstorms to develop. High temperatures today will range from 88 Fahrenheit along the coast to 92 inland, but only 80 in the hills. Lows tonight will be near 77 Fahrenheit along coastal areas, 72 inland, and 66 in the mountains. Winds will remain light and variable with only slight sea conditions. A high tide occurred at 5:45 this morning. A low tide will occur at 12:23 this afternoon, followed by the next high tide at 6:30 this evening. The sun rose at 5:56 this morning, and it will set this evening at 5:17. The moon will rise at 2:10 this afternoon and set at 2:29 tomorrow morning. The outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night is for partly cloudy skies with isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms, with a few more over the south on Tuesday night. Tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. However, there is the likelihood of a broad area of low pressure to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea within the next 7 days. The National Meteorological Service will monitor this area very closely. And that's your latest weather report and forecast from the National Meteorological Service. Join us at midday for our next update. But until then, have a pleasant Monday morning.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Making news to start the day, the University of Belize on Saturday advised that if any student is found to be participating in or encouraging cyberbullying, they will be subject to disciplinary action, including potential suspension, and the matter will be reported to the police. The notice was shared on the university's Facebook page after faculty happened upon a Facebook page where content demeaning to other students was being dumped. That included photos and comments meant to ridicule and embarrass, but also breaching the privacy of other students. It is believed several people may be behind the concerning page. At the last House meeting that was held on October 16th, there was a supplementary budget appropriation for additional spending outside of the regular budget. Interestingly, one line item under the portfolio of elections and boundaries points to $343,787 for the purpose of general election. This is being taken as confirmation that elections will be called early and very likely in March of 2025. That's because the annual budget is tabled in March every year, and this is coming before then. The Prime Minister alone has the power to decide when elections will be called. The recent case of Police Corporal Santiago Ciao, who was declared medically unfit to continue on the job but who was unable to claim incapacity benefit from the Social Security Board, led to great indignation among the public. In a subsequent release, the SSB indicated that they have a medical board which determines who is eligible for incapacity benefit. It added that the medical board's procedures are not based on the government's medical report procedures and that the government's report itself is not the determining factor in their decision-making process. In a recent interview, SSB CEO Dr. Leroy Almendarez explained that the 3 doctors on the medical board are drawn from a published list.
Doctors, if you ever check, you'll see all those doctors are right there.
But I mean the ones who are on the tribunal. How do you select them? Is that a random selection?
It's a random selection from out of that registered list. It's a random selection. And that is how it should be.
Is it, does it change? Right.
It does change. It does change. It wouldn't be the same doctor's
Every
name.
year, every 2 years?
Well, in terms of how often, it's how often we actually have a board or we convene a board. But what I can check for you is to see how often it has been done in the past. Right?
How often do they sit? Meaning how many appeals are there on average?
The tribunal?
Right.
Well, really a tribunal can be called if there's only one. It can be called because remember now you are waiting. All right? You're injured. In fact, you might now be invalid. And that has to go through that process. Right? So any claim that is denied, remember it's not only invalidity or injury. A sickness benefit claim can be denied as well. So it simply means then that there is recourse. It's not just a decision by SSB. So you will say, okay, the claim was denied. This was SSB's decision. It goes to tribunal. And if the tribunal says, SSB, your denial of claim is not upheld, then it's not upheld.
But you have to
and we accept.
You have to be sick for 26 consecutive weeks, right?
Remember, there's a difference between sickness and injury.
Injury.
Injury is 234 days.
Consecutive.
Right,
Yeah.
and injury could, for the first, and that's why some people ask, how much of my salary do I get back? It's 80% for the first 175 days, and then for the remaining days, it's 60%. But remember, that is sickness benefit, sickness claim. Injury simply means that you won't be able to go to work, and it's after that period expires that assessment for invalidity takes place.
Trade Union Congress of Belize, NTUCB, reported that after its meeting with Prime Minister John Briceño and the Minister of the Public Service, Henry Usher, 2 Fridays ago, it was agreed that the government would not forge ahead with its recent proposed amendment of the Carl Hitchner Memorial Hospital Authority Act. The intention was to switch out a hospital union representative for a member of the NTUCB. Another House meeting is set to be held on Tuesday, November 12th. We note that this bill is on the agenda. The National Garifuna Council held its annual National Miss Garifuna pageant in Belmopan on Saturday at the Civic Center. The pageant aims to promote Garifuna culture, beauty, and pride. There were 6 contestants from the Garifuna communities across the country. After the performances were tallied for the different segments, Miss Dangriga Trinity Pascual was declared the winner. In second place was Miss St. Bite Adriana Palacio, while Miss Hopkins Kyla Williams placed third. Miss Dangriga also topped the categories of Best Chumba and Best Main Item, while Miss St. Bite won in the segment of Best Dress. This year's calendar of activities for Garifuna Settlement Day are being celebrated under the theme Celebrating Our Roots, Sharing Our Culture. And that brings us to the end of our news update. We take a small break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to open up for conversation. You're listening to Crime Radio, you're watching XTV. I'm Mose. We'll be right back.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
All right, welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the house with you, and it's now time for the business end of the show, which means that we get to invite and host your participation by you making the required move of calling in. The telephone number 280-5848. That's the phone line for you to engage us in conversation. We want to get you on board, and please jump in, make we feel you. It's the start of the week. It's Monday morning. It's 11th of November 2024. Just in case you're just joining us, I'm Mose Hyde, and excuse me, I will be the host today. And so we proceed. We, of course, once you are not on the line, then we can maneuver into topics that we choose, but that does not prevent you from altering that course with your own topic, because that's the way it works. Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes on Creme Radio and NX TV. And as a bit of housekeeping, the days are now counting down. We know to multiple things. California Settlement Day, that's a given. It's coming up. And then, of course, Belizeans' favorite pastime, celebrating Christmas. Great. But a bit of our self-interest is that as we are entering that kind of countdown season, we're also counting down to January 1st. And that's when, of course, we bring you our Creme New Year's Day Cycling Classic from Corozal to Belize. Sugar and cream, it's affectionately called. You can chew the sugar belt of the country, and of course, that we are the cream. So it links. And it's been going on now since 1990, I believe, 1991 or 1990. Head to get rusty. Either way, long time, the way to bounce off. And once everything is everything, we're set to bring you the 2025 version of that. So put that down, start. Get yourself familiar with that. Know that they're on the lane too once you get into this time of the year. Now, it's Monday morning, couple things quickly. Again, feel free for jumping in at any time. Telephone number at 280-5848. One of the things where, well, last week there seemed to have been some, a bit of internal little issues, and then so there was some kind of news going on about the People's Constitution Committee, which is the PCC, which is, if you have forgotten, we can't blame you, because they've kind of gone a little bit quiet for a little while, to the point we actually say we don't even know if this still go on, like we don't know what happened. Last week, because apparently there were some internal things that went on, and I think, supposed to have been a draft, and then somebody violated that draft, and so there's some issues. But not get into that part. The fact is, as a result of that, we know that the PCC still lives, still breathes, and has actually been working, and they have reached a point where they even reached one draft, even though the draft caused the issues, the complications, whatever. We kind of, I would say, oh, well, I still did it. I haven't seen any draft and whatever, and just for those who don't know, I was and remain not against the process of looking at our constitution and really tailoring it to suit our needs and to make it be people-powered, people-centric, make it better. I am not the constitution is great guy, so I believe in make we look upon this thing, since it's such a instrumental part of our existence, right? It determines where go on, wrong we and how we could be and how we cannot be and everything associated with we, individual or communities, and the entire nation. It's like the bedrock, right? One of the primary bedrocks of what we have. So yeah, if you don't like how you go, you have to go back to your bedrock, go back to your DNA and say, okay, something wrong here, see how you could make that adjustment. So in theory, I am for that. In the way that it's being executed, I opposed and remain opposed to the fact that I find it to be a very exclusive process, a process that in my view, I don't see how Ian really could do what he say and do. I think the effort, to some extent, they mimic the very first installment of the Constitution, where again, from the people who were there and who have spoken, they said that it was just the people's participation was more just one ticking of the box. Essentially, there was a league group and they just decided we're going to be with Constitution and then hand with that. And I feel that while an effort has been made to tag certain organizations and get representatives from in, that in my view, especially with the fact that key organizations, again, were prevented from being like we were told that there were only so many seats on the bus. And I felt that that in itself indicted the process. Like, if there are organizations that want to be in, and they are legitimate organizations that can provide a resume to indicate that, and their interests and the communities that they serve are legit, that they should never ever be given a closed door, and that was done. And in my view, that sealed the case again. But it goes on, and my opposition against it, of not have one bearing upon whether or not they do some work, and that work is going to at some point in time be presented to the political directorate for their consideration and presented to the public, and we are getting a sense of what is there. And I imagine that some of them will get used and some of them will not be. And I would assume that some of them will be worthy of being used, and that some of them will not get used, unfortunately, that things when they should use, and some of the things when they even want in that should have been in it. But that with most processes, right? There's nothing are perfect. But the fact that it still lives when we never know, and they've not been talking to us, we have no idea. It's really everything is they did a quote unquote public consultative phase, and now they're on to their everything that inside. And these guys are, we've heard a little bit of their struggles, like, they were not being properly financed for covering basic transportation and all of that, but that seemed to have been resolved because we don't hear anything about that. So here we go with a scenario where, based on what we heard last week, we have confirmation that the PCC, again, still living and still breathing. And it establishes that the whole conversation of, our Constitution, and last week, because of just the extraordinary circumstances involved with the US elections, presidential elections, we spent a little time reflecting on what this new order will be with the return of this and the uncertainty and just the fact that the president-elect is, we've been down the road and we know that, let us be kind, there's a level of unorthodoxy and a level of unpredictableness to this brethren that is now going to be the president starting somewhere in January next year. So we spoke about that. I think we were forced to talk about that. But there are a couple important things about the US electoral process where I am absolutely fascinated by and feel like, just like how we learn to love burger and pizza and American football, through the American cultural bombardment called television. So we never grew up the love burger, pizza. Like I can't even remember as a child, there was no, place where you go buy pizza. I don't know where the hell that. I don't know where pizza till, I guess we may have one. At some point we end up, I remember in my adolescent years, they end up with a pizza place off of Orange Street there. I think that would be either George Street or West Street. And I got the first pizza place I could think about. Now it's 2024, we pizza out. Pizza with a burger, with a fries, with a, a lot of that, you're not even conscious that American Western influence, that's how it works, right? And I know that's not the fact is that people are influenced, right? We get influenced. But just as how we get influenced for certain things, there are a couple of the things where I want to talk about, where I say, let us be influenced by many different things. And there are obviously many things about the empire, what I call the United States of America. It is the sole empire on planet Earth. There are obviously many things that are undesirable about the empire. But there are things that I'm truly fascinated by, and I think sometimes we're not even conscious of. Take, for example, the elections last year. So, not last year, last week. So, one of the things where you might not even be cognizant of, that in many places when people go and vote for who will be the president, and the only thing where you hear about that the president, or you hear about who win for the Senate or who win for the Congress. But in most places, a voting day there are many things where people they vote pan. Like you don't only vote pan who will be the leader, you vote pan so many things. There is a facility for make people advocate for certain decisions to be made by the people, directly by the people, not based on whether somebody like it or whether your elected leader want to follow through or whether they say they want to do it. No, you get to decide, and that is mandated. So, for example, I was able to, a dear friend, forget one list of all the different things where the people in and say California vote pan. Now, besides the fact that they decide who will be the senator, who will be the congressman, or who will congresswoman, or who will be the president, they get to decide a whole heap of other things. I think it was some 19 other positions that were being determined, including things like who will represent pan the board for schools. Like in many places, people directly choose in California, they choose who will be your district attorney, who will be attorney general, who will be judges, who will be auditor general. Like these are things that are directly chosen by the people when they go vote. So it's like we wouldn't have one auditor general problem like we have with we know in that process none at all. We don't get to decide that. Like things like who will be with DPP, we that decide that and so if we don't like how you perform, if we don't like the level of prosecution, if we don't love the efficiency where you bring out of the office, we choose somebody else that believes the office of the DPP, which is the equivalent of kind of like the district attorney. That's a lifetime. It's a lifetime position. Once you get there, you get there. But along with all of the other positions, there were many different things when they called proposals. So I wanted to just get into that, but I have a call. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Good morning, Mose. This is Hyde.
Good morning. Hello?
An item about the Carnegie Memorial Hospital Board.
Yes, we had an item where it has been announced by the NTUCB that as a
By the who?
the NTUCB, the Trade Union Congress of Belize, have announced that out of a meeting they had with the Prime Minister, that the government has backed down of its position to want to alter the composition of the board by removing the rep from the Coalition Memorial Association, the union for the workers of the hospital, and to then replace it with somebody from the Trade Union Congress. So the workers would not have a direct representative on the board. So the news that we ran this morning was to say that the government has walked back on that as a result of the meeting they had with the NTUCB.
But it...
Hello? Hello? I'm not hearing you, Miss Corey. I don't know. Hello?
One,
Hello?
when they altered the legislation to allow a member of the union to sit on the board.
Hello, Miss Corey. I missed up. We kind of lost you for a bit. Can you repeat the question?
I said, but wasn't, are they, so since they have walked back from it, have they walked back to the position of 21 when they changed the legislation to allow union representation on the board? Or are they going to put something else in its place?
From reading the news item, Ms. Corey, the understanding I get is that they're going back to the status quo, which is that the union rep is going to be allowed on the board.
But then you read that, did I hear right, or you said that it is on the agenda for some meeting? So there was going to be I think this was something that they were going to do in the legislation, and they did it in the House meeting, the last House meeting that they held. So what it seems they're saying is that this walking back is going to be officially done in the next House meeting, which I think is scheduled for tomorrow. So they're going to withdraw the proposed amendment?
They're going to withdraw it.
Are you sure about that? I think why I'm suggesting it would be, yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm glad I called to clarify, because seems to me...
I can't be sure anything that believes with them is correct, but what I just to say, the first...
No. I'm not saying you personally. Yeah. I'm just saying, are we sure? Because to start with Mose, why would you even have proposed, when they changed it in 21, don't you consider that a forward change?
Totally.
Exactly. So here now, you had an absolutely forward change in 21, and in 24 you're planning to walk back on the chain, go backwards again. So have they made up their mind once and for all that they will not go backwards?
I think what they can't walk back from is that you can't see it any other way, because no other legitimate excuse has been given than an attack on the participation and the transparency, especially of the workforce at the hospital and being involved.
Exactly.
So you can't walk back from the fact that it appears no other reason can be given as to why you would want to prevent them from being involved. Like, know that yes, the NTUCB has weighed in, and they have, I guess, under the pressure from the NTUCB, have decided, okay, we make we pick with battles, we don't do that. But the reality is now why you had such a problem? Fundamentally, why would you be so motivated to? I wasn't even when I spoke on this originally, I didn't even recall that this was actually done in 2021.
Oh, you spoke on it before?
Yes, when the news came out that this was being done.
Yeah, okay, I never heard that input from you. So go ahead and say what you said.
So my point is, okay, so there is nothing that no argument you could present as to why, of all the things you want to pick for go and pass through the house, that for single out the participation of the union at the hospital and being on the board.
But what they need to do is to examine that law, because there is a dreadful anomaly in that law. Now, I'm not going to to tell them the anomaly, but there's a serious anomaly in that entire legislation. That's what they should seek to correct. But not this thing. But I consider that moving 21 absolutely a forward move. It is in line with consulting, with having expanded participation. Now you're going to take out the participation and put in a participation that you think will look like it's expanded, but it won't really be expanded. And and who was going to pick? Was the Prime Minister going to pick? Who was going to pick the NTUCB?
Well, I think the NTUCB would have, as proposed, the NTUCB would have chosen, but importantly, they would not be allowed to choose somebody from the KHMH union. So it was like...
So they actually put in that caveat?
Yes.
Oh my God, okay, okay. You see, Mose, this is exactly what, well, I can't speak for everybody. But when you watch our political directorate acting in this Anansi type of way, and also Crab like too, then it takes you back to the medieval era. Everything they do, and I know they get angry, and they don't have their not justified in their anger. Man, get modern. For once, be modern. It was a modern move to put the union on the board in 21. Now why would you want to be accused of a backward move, which it is? It is a backward move. And rather than change that, study that law for an anomaly in that law and correct that anomaly. Don't be doing that. That's a forward move. And so every step you will make one step forward, you're going to take 10 steps backward. We are tired of that, man. That is what the struggle has been all along, Mose. Not only in Belize, we are an extension of the human struggle, particularly the European human struggle, of battling an aristocracy that convinces divinely ordained to lead, hang you when you put down every revolution, violently, brutally, because you're not supposed to challenge their authority. And we're still continuing in the same way. Thanks very much.
Before you go, Ms. Corey, one of the things I was going to touch on, and I was actually going to refer to you because I wasn't aware of this. So somebody referred me to somebody was going to go vote for the first time in LA, and they were telling me about all the different things that they had to vote on, and some of the things they had to try to check with people to understand what they should do on certain things. Like obviously you have they know who they were going to vote for president, but then there was like all these different props, and one of them was a prop called Prop 33, which dealt with whether or not they were going to allow for the placement of a ceiling to deal with the rent situation in LA. Anybody that lives in LA, California, they know. To deal with that. One of the props, Prop 33, was to deal with the installment of a ceiling to kind of control rent, because the cost of rent is and what inflation is. It's like they're saying this is a major problem. So you have people who are opposed to it, and you have people who are for it, for this thing. So this is one of the things you got to vote on directly, which is beautiful. But what was also enlightening to me was when you went to the federal page that deals with the election, that presents, this is the prop. So for each prop, when you go online on the federal website for California, they will describe the prop. Then they will tell you. Then they tell you all the pros of the amendment. Then they tell you all the listed negatives that people have said are the problem with the amendment. Then they list off all the organizations that endorse and advocate for the amendment. Then they list off all the organizations who are advocating for the amendment to be stopped. Then they list off all the different websites for these associations for you to go directly and to find out what they are saying about this amendment. And I thought that's what a neutral referendum looks like.
Exactly.
That's what a neutral referendum looks like.
Exactly. You see, the problem, Mose, is that all empires, and you can go back in time, the Roman Empire doesn't matter. While they may, only the people within the empire will enjoy the benefits and the goodness of the empire. Everybody else outside that empire, the rules don't apply to them. And unfortunately, the rulership in those areas outside the empire do not understand that the real struggle is to get what the empire has. The same, what America has is a combined system of direct representation and direct democracy and representative indirect democracy. They have that mixture. Now, the representative indirect democracy has America in a stranglehold of Republican and Democrat. And that's not my word. That word came from listening to a discussion with some people about the jail American system, and it is my position absolutely. Just as the UDP and PUP have believed in a stranglehold and a coalition, because we have a coalition government, we have just a stranglehold. That means you have no chance of seeing the forest. You can't break free. But in America, not in Belize, they do have a direct democratic process. And that's what proposition this and proposition that, that's what that represents. And they make sure, because under law, they have to do, just like in Switzerland, the Swiss can take their government to court for failure to perform the duty of educating the people on a matter. Yeah, and they have done that. The Swiss people have taken their government to court on failure to properly educate people on they call it referendum, any referendum. We don't have, our referendum act is a joke really, right or wrong, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
But we should be topping those things. Because while America is in a mess and is trying to sort itself out, at least in a particular corner, the people get a chance. In many states that were going to vote for Mr. Trump, they voted for abortion. Now, I'm not stating whether I'm for or against abortion. I'm just telling you what they did.
Yeah.
The very states that supporting Mr. Trump are equally supporting abortion, which his party is supposed to be against. So the people get a chance to make a choice and a proper education process.
Yeah.
When you do that more, especially a small, I was telling my friend Rudy Borpas that when you study the diet of Belizeans, when I was born in 48, right? So we ate a lot of fish. Fish was the cheapest protein. 15 cents a pound when I was a little girl. Maybe it was less before I was born, but when I began to understand prices, it was 15 cents a pound. Beef was eaten more widely than chicken. Chicken was eaten on Sundays because you grew your own chicken or you bought a chicken and the work entailed was a lot. So you had to pluck the feather and all of that. Nobody had time to do that every day, all day, right?
Yeah.
And then Belizeans ate, we all know that they meat, and then Belizeans ate caught fish, imported, but what strangely we got from that was the omega-3 oils of the northern cold water fish. Because unless you get fish out of our rivers, and not everybody likes our rivers because of bad money, you get the omega-3 oil. Then as children, we took cod liver oil. In my generation, I cannot speak before nor after. Even as babies, you were getting your cod liver oil with orange juice, and then later on, when you got older, you got it every morning in a teaspoon. A horrible situation, but you took it. I was telling you, I said, when you study that diet with red beans, yes, we had white rice, but the Belizeans ate 4 kinds of cereal: rice, flour wheat, oats, and barley. My sister and I were raised on barley and corn. So we had 5 grains, Mose. 5 grains. When you study that, Belizeans, I'll take one item. Belizeans were getting at, and they didn't like liver. I don't like liver at all. But Belizeans like liver. So we were getting a store of vitamin B12, which is the vitamin that is for the brain. It's for blood, red blood cell development, growth. For the brain, it plays many roles, but one of its primary roles is in the nervous system. So we had a more tranquil population and a highly intelligent population at that age because of that food, because of the very then ground food, add from food to the starting. We had that, just basic. I'm not looking at the fruits, I'm not looking at the vegetables, just that. We don't have that anymore, Mose. Our people can barely buy chicken, those fishes at 8 something, well, something 9 and 12 a pound. Beef is expensive. And what are they eating for protein? Hot dogs with maybe 1/2 of a sausage they get. They buy 2 sausages and that will run for a meal for a family. But not in my childhood, you know? And how do we get back to those things? Because you cannot, you know that in Europe they prescribe the amount of vitamins, etc., that are ideal for the per capita, male and female. We are not doing anything like that. So when you hear that a society is going to examine a ceiling on rents, and the society is going to decide it now, not the politicians. So you can't get vexed with the Republicans, you can't get vexed with the Democrats. The only people who get vexed with are themselves, right?
Yep.
Because they went and made that decision. But measure that decision, Mose. You know, you always hear them hollering communism. No. These are problems that European peasants face for over 1,000 years. They took on their rulership non-stop. They were hanged, burned to death, all manner of things was done to them as they fought their way up out of that same kind of suffocating poverty. Suffocating, not enough to eat. You don't know when you'll be kicked off the land of the Lord of the manor, all manner of things. And they fought non-stop. So when America has that, that's a direct consequence of the European extended fight moves. We need that sort of thing, don't you agree? We need that.
Yeah, so
but our leadership isn't doing that, isn't looking there, doesn't want to look there at all. And because we are considered appendages to the empire, providing cheap resources, labor, so we are not due the liberties they have.
Yeah. So I think that
Bye-bye.
I think the example of direct decision making by the people is one thing about it, but also the fact that the lack of any sense that anybody that anybody cares. That here, for example, in Belize City,
talking about Belize City.
the rent is something that is of a major
I
concern.
have been calling the radio station to talk about the rent for business premises. At the pump yard here, 12 by 20, a lady under a tent, she's paying $200 a week for a little 12 by 20 spot. And for 2 spots, she pays $400 a week. Who you think end up having to pay for that? Most of you and I will go buy the vegetables, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And now the microfilling is lower. However, and the prices, I couldn't understand it most. I couldn't understand why some of the prices in microfilling are lower for fruits and vegetables than at the foot of the bridge. When the foot of the bridge is the wholesale center. It didn't make any sense. So I began to do my research. Asking here, asking there, asking everybody I could get any information out of. And a friend of mine who is extremely observant, she said Sandra had made that same observation. But she wasn't sure why. Well, I found out that the rent, one lady paid $200 for a tent, not a building, a bed of things, a tent. Then we get passed on $800, how much? We get passed on $400 a week, $1,600 a month for that lady's product. Because logically, she can't pay, we can't expect her to make no profit and she will pay the rent. We will have to pay the rent that she pays in order to sell her products. So the rent all around, and that's what pushes people to go and settle on the outskirts in the settlement areas there, illegal settlement areas. These are things more that we can solve. And we should make up our mind once and for all in the context of the history we have inherited. That this is what needs to be done. Before you end up with a revolution in the French style, which came, what's the phenomenon? It was the last straw that broke the camel's back. And our people are at that level. So I agree with you 100% on this. Not only rent, Mose, the cost of, they tell you they can't do it because of the free market. But the free market is not working. It isn't working, and I'm not advocating. Nobody is more opposed to communism and socialism than I am. But sometime or other, a government has to make the decision. Lord, look at all the leadership who are being removed from office because of the cost of living. Have you noted that?
There's unrest going on, I think, in Martinique. There's several places right now. Yeah.
People are fed up. Humanity as a species is fed up with political leadership at every level, across the world. And they're fed up here too. Bye-bye, Mose.
All right, Ms. Corey. We got to go to 2 Cents Scam, sponsored by 4 Point Security. Then we take our first big of the morning.
You're watching WUB and this is XTV. And I tell you, I take a taxi run and our regular run, $10 I pay, but people they complain. So make I find out from the taxi man whether for them 2 cents, where they go through on a daily basis for daily customers. The fee. Explain to me where will a taxi man go through on a daily basis for daily customer.
First off, we go through a lot of things. The fee, when we charge, the 10, depends on the run, the distance. For instance, from here to hospital, like $8 we charge.
Okay.
Back at Westland, even an place, the $10.
What our original price in the city, what original run?
It depends, $10. But just a standard price at $10. But how we charge as a cooperative, we at 10 and 8, pertaining to distance, right? And the reason gas expensive, one, what tire, you go in and so you're a bus with tire, that was another expense to you. You broke something for your vehicle, that was another expense. So we have to charge the price there. Something go back to the car for maintenance.
All right. What are the latest hours as a taxi man you run?
Well, we operate out here, we cater for the working class, so we do out here in the morning from before 8. We also do out here till generally after 8, but you have to keep in mind that 12 hours cycle. So we as a cooperative, we operate one 12 hours cycle. We have other members who operate later, members who continue to operate on calls, members who operate according to how the customer needs it. So the first step we try to reach and cater for the people. We try to keep the vehicles clean. We try to make it efficient, serviceable. Hey, we always ready to make that deal.
That you're too saying. How you don't feel if the taxi company Uber, you know what I'm talking about, right? With a opening of Belize, you think that affect? You know what your 2 cents, man?
I mean, basically yes. I mean, like I say, Uber coming is a competition for us, obviously. So of course it will affect us. All depends on the price they want to charge too, right? So then we have to try to compete with them if they do come, which we hope not. So that's basically it, no?
That your 2 cents.
get overexcited and press the wrong button. Please call me right back. My fault, completely my fault. Not your phone fault, not the phone fault. No technical problem. That was me, human error, press the wrong button. Good thing I don't fly planes. That would be a problem. I was on phone and I do abstract. So please call the number at 280-5848. That is the live line for you to participate in the conversation. And just before we jump back up and into the conversation, but we have a call. I won't mess up this one. Krem, good morning, WB.
Good morning, Mose.
Good morning, sir.
G-Mike, no?
Good morning, sir.
Right. I should become there, you know about these things, you travel more. So, what is the difference between Uber and taxi?
Uber has one specific app. So they like your turn, they like you get all the taxi into one ownership, and then the ownership have the application software where you could download, and and then like if you got a car, you could get processed for sign on for be an Uber driver. So you got your regular way to go on, but you don't want certified Uber driver. So people do Uber driving like in a spare time sometimes, in an evening time sometimes. So everyday people that Uber driver, and then the app connected in such a way that when you say, okay, I want to go from a point, I want to go from Partridge / Mandela Drive, and I want to go to Princess Hotel. Essentially, they will find the closest Uber driver, and then you could see you could say what part of the vehicle is, so you could monitor how far the vehicle is from you, and there's no money transfer. The money is transferred via the app. So you know they pay nobody have to worry about change and any kind of things. So I think that to a great extent that the technology that will make that different.
It almost seems like the same thing because you call a man that just calls you with Uber, you're sure of secure environment, which is a taxi man where you know personally, people got a personal taxi, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but a big city, for example, So a big city, when I say big, I mean a more sprawling place like some of these huge cities. Then the technology come in.
I just don't think that we're big enough for that. But they were doing it, and I had a man named, Uber. I had a man named Uber. That's a different thing.
Uber. I know it as Uber. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I say it wrong one time, and one of my picking them laugh at me. So I listen. I got it up on my phone, and when I travel, I use them. It work all good.
But I believe quite yet, and the plan for doing another situation.
I don't know or hear anything about that, but I fear that with many different things, technology, if we not organize ourselves to utilize the technology, then we set ourselves up for somebody come and set up their thing. I know that in Jamaica, I believe that they have banned they call them lifts. I think they have done a ban. I don't want to say 100% sure. I think I've read a news item to that effect. I want to check it when I go into the break. But yeah, I think technology problematic if we know the part.
I was referring to St. Kim, which is a very good story this morning. And one of the taxi drivers then respond eloquently. And their concern was, of course, that it might indeed affect their business. But that's why the question come up.
Yeah, I think where the various taxi associations need to do that they understand that learning, but that they could utilize technology better than they use it right now, and that we need this is one of the benefits of STEM in our classrooms, that we need people where they learn coding so that they could develop the apps will go along with these various taxi associations. So I don't know the various taxi. I know, for example, I believe you still have the Albert Street taxi union, they should have one app, and the app should be able to make it easier for people to get there and utilize them. I think the technology, we have to be, we can't live ourselves vulnerable because we're staying at the analog days. We have to realize that the technology, they move, and people want to utilize it in a way to create value for customers, and make the old school lose out. So the old school have to up their game. But I don't know that you have been. I don't know if you have been at the farm of. I don't know if you have been at the farmer, like, so Uber and start operate the Belize. I don't know about that, but you never know, It's like we never know when man they come in to eat your food, they come and eat your food.
But it seems to suggest that these guys just work with their own farm of Uber with using all that technology and whatnot, as opposed to bringing you a big Uber.
No man, I believe that we listen. I believe that we need to prevent or lower the level of vulnerability to any of these any invaders, right? But we know that Uber, they're all over the world, and just like how Starlink, they're all over the world. And then we'll say, well, why Elon Musk would want for really dollars and cents, for really small as them brother see the world like get every copper way you could get. So eventually somebody will look and say, well, probably not there. Oh, we're not there at Belize. Okay, well, make some move. Who you talk to, who you apply to, and then you have to depend on for we regulatory bodies and for we political directors to protect we. I just say, make we be forward in our movement. Make we think progressively and figure out how we can utilize technology to improve the service we give and to make ourselves less vulnerable. That's all I say. I don't want nobody come invade and take with food. You crazy? You know much.
The tricky part with the find out the most because the technology they move ahead. The world is moving in a direction and you can't really get left behind.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to. I think most of all we have to protect with security because a person like Elon Musk come in and they guys get a whole of all information. They only give you one service that is take everything you got and put it in for their database here to work with that. So. I was listening the other day to some news from the Middle East. There were 2 countries were cut off right away from the internet because of the companies that run them. So we have to look at that. And one more thing before I go on, I want to pick up Santa Fe for consistently staying on target with the information and trying to spread the word as to what is truly going on in this world. A lot of people are sucking up some propaganda, and we got to be careful, man. We got to think for ourselves. That's all I'm saying. Have a nice day.
Respect, brother. Yeah, man. A morning without a quarrel with G Mike. That's rare. Respect. All right. Good morning, WB.
Hey, Mose, morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, man. Mose, I want to follow up on 2 things.
Yes, brother.
One, I want to continue the conversation from the interview you did with Marco.
Yes, sir.
As it relates to...
It's a Nigel.
Code red in the blue.
It's a Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel, correct. So, as you are aware...
The president of the Belize Federation...
Belize Federation of Fisheries.
Belize Federation of Fisheries. President, director, yes. The big man. This my brother.
Yeah.
I want Carla come in after Marco and kind of like me... Throw these stone out to you, I don't know if you hear that part.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't have thin skin, and even I follow up the brother. I know the brother.
All right.
But I'm not going into details as to the motive behind the calling.
Okay.
Because we don't want to lose sight.
Okay, I just mean, because we now open conversation, and so I did, I just want you to know, right? Because then I know like somebody can tell me something in a private. So it's not a matter of being thin-skinned. Somebody call you out and put our information out there. Sometimes you have to clarify it because you have people who don't know you and don't know, and might be influenced to get a negative view of you without even knowing you, without knowing the facts. So feel me, brother? So
understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Well, for clarity, the man needs to get the information accurate because either the director of the Belize Federation of Fishers. So he needs to get accurate. He needs to get information accurately.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, I don't have things in, and I don't have us lose focus
Right.
on the main issue.
Right.
You
Okay.
see, what has been happening over time is that the masses, the come along, get along crew, continuously wants to see the fishers fight amongst themselves and fight amongst those who are representing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they recognize that they are not organized and they do not have the voice. So one of our key objectives, as I have stated categorically, is to educate, build capacity, and advocate on behalf of our members. So I won't let that detract us from the course that we are on. And I want to focus this morning basically on two things. One, as it relates to the code red in the blue, and two, Marisol's report on the Gillnet ban.
Mm-hmm.
What Ms. Sandra had said in her closing statement, that people are fed up. Most, I cannot understate how much that is true, because the fisher folks are fed up and have been fed up over the last 2 decades. When we talk about the reconstruction, the catch reconstruction that the summit and its partner came in and did for Belize, which suggested that 19 out of the 20 species analyzed are currently unsustainable. And why are they unsustainable? They're unsustainable because of overfishing. And what Marisol, Marco, and the other journalists have done is to expose the hypocrisy within the fisheries department, expose the lies, expose the alleged corruption within the ministry and the department. And why am I saying that, Mose? I am saying that specifically because here we have an organization that have no alternative motive but to come in and open our eyes. And I'll go into some details just to share with you that these people have been talking to our representatives since 2021. And I have the receipts to back what I am saying. So when you see I am coming on the show, talking to the nation, explaining what is happening, it's because I have the receipt. I am not here with any alternative motive. And you have heard me time and time again, and my main focus is to advocate for the livelihood of our fishers. Why do we have to advocate, Mose? We have to advocate because our fishers' livelihood and well-being depend on the Mesoamerica barrier reef. We have approximately 13,000 people directly benefiting from the economic from the fishing industry. Our finfish like groupers and snappers are very important to our food source, and it also has cultural significance. So when these reports come out and they got the level of pushback, it's because the journalists who are a part of the EGN are hitting the nail on the head, and they are touching on subjects that are a very major concern for the fishing industry. You see, Mose, the conservation fund, right, had 3 main conservation commitments. That blue bond had 3 major conservation commitments. One was to have 20% of our waters under MPAs. The second one, which recently is going to go into law, 25% by 2024, which is November of this year. And then the last milestone is our 30% by 2026. Now you and I know, Mose, if we go into the bank and we ask for a mortgage, and let's say we get that mortgage, 250,000 over a 20-year term, and we're paying X amount in.
Hello. All right, brother, you're still here, but I'm not hearing you.
Also know that we are going to pay 2 times or 2.5 times the amount that we borrow based on the term and based on the rate. Why am I saying this, Mose? It's because we have exploited our resource and we have given commitment to 30% of our marine resources. And we are going to pay back at the end of that blue bond term, which you and I might not be around. But if we are, we're going to be very old. And it's our children who are going to be suffering, paying for this blue bond. But you are looking at 2.5 times the amount of money, close to around $700 million US. Worst part about that agreement, Mose, is that it believes default on any of those conservation commitments. There is a $1.25 million US annually punishment for not meeting the blue bond commitment. So I say that in context because I want people to understand how important these reports that the EGA journalists have been producing. And they need to take the time to understand, to read, to recognize how critical of a stage our marine resources are in. You see, when we talk about protection and MPAs and how this should benefit our fisher folks, it is not most the only organization that are receiving funds through this Blue Bond Agreement are the conservation organization. The fisher folks are not receiving direct support. What have they done? They have sent them to the DFC. And when you look at a fisherman going to the DFC for a $35,000 loan, for example, $35,000 for 3 years at 12%. Most that fisherman is going to pay over $40,000 back to the DFC. And at that time, his boat, his house, his land into numbers to paint a true and accurate figure and picture. When a fisherman goes to the DFC for a loan, the average he paid for that loan to be processed is $1,000. That's the average. In the House, the Prime Minister stated that 320 fisher folks got loans from DFC in the tune of $2.1 million. And most of those fisher folks came from the north. So automatically, when you look at 1,000 times 320, you're looking at $320,000 off the top DFC made from these fisher folks. Why am I saying this, Mose? The government and the Fisheries Department went to the IDB for a $7 million loan. Of that, $1.6 million US was go to assist fisher folks in grant support. But instead, that money has been held back, refused to be given to the fisher folks, and instead sent them to the DFC for loans. So this is where we are. Our fishery, our shallow is in critical state because of overfishing. And now you have people who have additional debts that they need to meet when the fishery is not sustainable. So these reports from Marco, from Marisol, from Hyde, and all the journalists, Hippolito, all the journalists who have participated in the EJN reporting is very crucial and critical for an eye-opener for the conservation community. If they are serious about making significant changes, they need to look at the recommendation and not be dismissive about what is being said. It's the hard truth, and we have to understand and recognize that science is science. And I know that Uncle George is going to call in and he's going to explain more detail into the science. But what I am doing is sounding the alarm that we are in a very, very crucial situation whereby our industry can collapse. And if we do not make the necessary changes, we're going to be in trouble. Now, the department has been making some strides. They're saying that, listen, we recognize that overfishing is one of the critical issues that we're facing right now with the other, with some of the major other issues like enforcement and other stuff. But what are they doing, Mose? What are they doing? Listen, they have said that there are policies and legislation that needs to be aligned with the Fisheries Resources Bill. We have not seen them making anything in order to address those policies and legislation. But yet, they are doing these expansions. And one of the things that are very alarming, because you'll have some of the officials that come out and say, well, why the expansion, no, they affect me, so I know the bill, no worries, make them do what they have to do. But boss, you know, they affect you now. And that's our problem. We only think about right now. What that catch reconstruction did is to take us into the future and telling us if we do not make the necessary changes now, this is what is going to happen into the future. So what I'm saying is that while these expansions, whether in the blue, it don't affect me, they affect you now, it will affect us in the future because we do not know the terms and conditions where they come with it. And they are not sharing those. So that is critical. The second point I want to hit at more.
Maybe what you could do, Nigel, is coming back after the break, so I can take a break. I at least want to engage with you a little bit, but that would mean I will blow my break by a lot more. So I'll take a break, come back. You could probably link us back. I hope you'll be able to get in easily. All right, my brother?
Perfect.
Give thanks. All right, we take a break. We'll be back. right, welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, first morning of the week, 11th of November 2024. And whether January, November, December, whichever month, once the morning, once the weekday, we there. WUB, good morning.
Hey, morning, Mose.
Yes.
Nigel back again.
Yes,
no?
yes, Nigel.
Yeah, so I just want to finish up the conversation and then we could jump into some discussion. No?
Yeah.
Marco had brought out the fact that, and also Marisol and the other journalists, that we had to go through the freedom of information to request these information from them. And, it just shows, and I mentioned to you about the hypocrisy and the lies and the misinformation that they have been providing to us. Hence the reason why you have to go through the freedom of information to get this information from them. Mm-hmm. But I want to zero in on the point that Marco made as it relates to what had happened to the Summit Foundation. So here you have an organization with a group of partners with some of the most renowned scientists in the world coming to your assistance, providing information that is going to help us in the long term. Well, according to the minutes that we have received and have read, that the directive came from the acting fisheries administrator to discontinue all communication with the Summit Foundation and its partners. Why? Because of the information that they have brought to the table that have opened the eyes of our fisher folks and of the nation, telling them that, listen, this paradise, this jewel that we are protecting, that we're saying that that is a global leader out there, is not so behind the scenes. And that was very, very crucial because we were not aware that this was what had taken place at the Fisheries Advisory Council. I know that is one of the highest body in terms of providing directives to the ministry and the minister. So that was crucial to me. But when I say it brought out the hypocrisy and the lies, it's because, as you are aware, they have been pushing back, saying that we have done our own stock assessment. And we have been saying to them, well, show us your stock assessment, present to us your data, break it down to us in common sense so that we can understand. And what they have done in terms of the Freedom of Information Act is just to provide us with some graph and say, hey, see, this is what we tell you that we have done, which is nothing new. So I am saying that we need to take a serious look at it and call out some of the conservation partners who are part of the Come Along, Get Along, who are benefiting from the conservation fund and turning a blind eye to what is really taking place in the fishing industry. The same thing can be said about the gillnet ban. When you look at the ban and how that materialized, this ban has been in process since 2018 and almost. Since 2018, and we had to go through the Freedom of Information Act just to get the list of fisher folks who have license to fish, to use gillnet. Just to get the name then. And then still, when we got the name, these guys are now going to come a few years later and say, hey, we made some mistake because one of the add to the list and we forget to put so much people on the list. So it shows you that, one, these guys now have the data in order, hence the reason why they are so reluctant in providing you information is because they are not organized, most. They are not organized.
Okay, so let me jump in here, Nigel.
Yeah.
Just to kind of bring this to a kind of focal point here.
Correct.
For me, the regulatory body and the government of Belize was given ample opportunity to present its case via the articles that have been written by independent journalists within the independent media scape, not only journalists that are affiliated with my camp, Zinc camp. No, it's broader based. We have simply put the light on those who are associated with us. So these, as far as I'm concerned, these articles and the information that has been shared is damning. You don't have nothing for back up what you've been saying, and on the other side, the officials have the world leading expert essentially saying night is night and day is day. And so the regulatory body then could have feelings, because as human beings, there are times when the truth is hurtful. But the truth is the truth, the fact is the fact, and you can't do anything about that. Day is day and night is night. So here we are, where as far as I'm concerned, until or unless some information can be shared, and obviously they still have the time, by the regulatory body and the governmental beliefs to say, no, everything is on a sustainable trajectory. Until or unless they're able to do that, then we are acting on the fact that the fishing stock is at a level of crisis that requires intervention. We are siding with where you guys are at. So, Nigel, one, I know to some extent you have argued about for figuring ways how fisher folk can be supported financially, access to credit. Good, we get that. Also, I think in Marco's article is a reference to things that can be done, emergency stopgap measures to give the stock an opportunity to recover. Could you just tell us from the Federation of Fishers standpoint, what exactly are you advocating for priority things that need to be done? So we have the patient, and we go in with the doctor report that the patient, they're in a crisis, they're in an emergency, and we need to do A, B, C, D to help the patient. We know why you're that the patient is okay. That has been deemed, as far as I'm concerned at this point, by the information that's been shared by those articles, that position has been deemed as no, we're going to talk about. The patient sick, very sick, critically sick, steps have to be taken. What are you recommending, advocating for as a body, not you personally, as a body, to be done?
Well, there are several things that we have been saying that needs to be done as a body. We have been saying that we need to support fisheries management plans, the fisheries management plan for conch and lobster. And we have prepared two documents, Mose. One, which is called the Fisher's Code of Conduct for Responsible Fishing, which outlines what some of the measures that our fisher folk need to take and have agreed to take in order to address the challenges that we are facing. And two, we have proposed a call to action for the government in order to make the necessary, complement the Code of Conduct for Responsible Fishing, and which are some of the immediate measures we have been asking for is to restructure the fishing license system. Right now, currently, as we understand it, the one category of license is commercial fishing license, and every single solitary person has that whether you're doing commercial fishing or not. And we are saying that that needs to be addressed because you have people that does reef fishing, and that's completely outside of the commercial scheme. So we are saying that the restructuring of the fishing license needs to happen with immediate effect. We have also said that there needs to be transparency and accountability in fisheries management. We cannot always have to go through the freedom of information in order to get information on the stock, what is taking place out there. It is the job and the responsibility of the regulating bodies as well as its partners to come to the nation and to tell us exactly what is taking place.
So essentially, Nigel, one of the comments I made to Marco is that when it comes to this situation, it's as if though we're existing in an alternate universe where the laws of physics are completely different, where things go up rather than come down. The stakeholder, the participant, the person doing the fishing, the person doing the activity is the person calling for action, calling for a change. The regulatory body is, which usually is the entity that is trying to convince the fisher folk for them to act in a way to protect. They are not the ones doing that. So it's completely flipped upside down. So what explains this? Is it that it doesn't make good politics? It will not be favorable for the party political, electoral politics thing. You have some things that are unpopular. Or is it B, that, you know, we are talking here about where people are protecting their vested powers and interests and their benefits, and hence they're acting in a way that is not in the interest of the industry itself, like, or both?
I would say it's both modes, because some of the changes that needs to take place, and as you are aware, Dale has been on the show many times that he has advocated that in order for us to relieve pressure off the lobster, we need to change the method in which we are fishing the lobster. And there's this call that should have been implemented years ago as it relates to the size of the lobster that needs to be harvested. The government decided that they're going to push back because they got significant rebellion from those who do not want to see that part of the industry change. So, and then you have those who are sitting at the top and who are receiving funds from the conservation fund, which we reference as, you know who pays the pipe to call the shot. So they are afraid to get out and speak. And
so one of the things, for example, one of the things that potentially could be very unpopular is to say, listen, and it would be a price for, you know, the non-professional fisher, meaning people who would just go to the water to catch fish. Like, they would have to come under that is something we would have to be put on a pause. Like that would be one of the recommendations, right?
Correct. And what we're saying too, more, we need to reduce the pressure. So we are saying that we can set up an endowment fund whereby we can ensure that these guys are a revolving fund. That's one of the funds that we have proposed to them, a revolving fund, an endowment fund. But one of the things that we are saying to them is that, listen, let us allocate some funds that will remove some of these fishers off the sea for a period of time. And what we can do then is to be able to have this stock really reformed in a way that it is applicable and it's sustainable, and that have been mapped out in the Belize Fisheries Project and the recommendation to government. But they have immediately given a pushback on that. So it is obvious to us that the regulating body do not want to implement the changes that they are seeing that needs to be implemented because they are benefiting from the conservation front.
We're in a full ostrich mode, completely. That's where we are. And but the thing with that is that you might not have to face the truth today, but face the truth you will. You might not want to end up in a situation where you have to find ways to help people where their activity completely shut down. But someday you will have to. It's just to decide whether it's going to be on your terms or it's going to be on nature's terms. And when it's on nature's terms, then the reality then becomes more long-lasting. So that we'll deal with here.
That is exactly what we're dealing with, and that's the reason why I said that I won't give the time to the fisher that call, because at the end of the day, he's thinking right now. We are thinking in the future. We are saying that if these changes and these measures do not take place now, in the future, our next generation is going to be in some serious trouble. And then we have mortgaged out our resources that we, for sure, do not have the know-how right now to pay back that will go to those debt holders.
So in the near future, we'll have to start eat sea egg like where some other countries doing in the Caribbean and sea egg than anything. Sea urchins.
We continue to import. We have to continue to import fish. What one catch us like what catch Jamaica and some of those other Caribbean countries, whereby their fisheries has completely collapsed. Just north of us, Mexico, we have a 5 years moratorium to try to bring back to their income. So is that the position that we want? Is that the vision that we have for long term? No, it's not. But the people who have the authority to make the changes, those are the people who push back for no reason. Or for their own alternative motive.
For their own self-interest. Nigel, obviously this is not a topic that is going anywhere. Which is completely not surprising, but definitely not acceptable. The fact that, despite the fact that these articles have been sent out, they've been murmuring and doing any political jabbing at the article and at the truth telling, but they have not really confronted the public and come out forward to say, well, really make a presentation and be held accountable. Like, that has not happened. Like, nobody has stepped out. It's like the political operatives, they don't really sparing or whatever, but these people have not come forward to say, listen, these articles are out there, this is our response. There has been zero official response from the ministry or the regulatory body at all, despite the fact, this is now, maybe they could say, that they could ignore Nigel as they've done, they could ignore the fishers, which they have done, but now we have the journalists coming out, listen, we have done this work, we gave you a chance to come forward, we gave you a chance to be a part of the articles, you have been inadequate, you have been found lacking, and the situation is dire. And we get crickets, we get silence. Man, watch ya, man. So why are you there? If you don't feel that you have an obligation in the face of what has been reported to come to the public and say A, B, or C. I mean, come and prove your case. Like, in my view, that is what is duty bound now for you to do. That's how it should be.
Exactly, that's how it should be. We have wrote in April of this year, 2024, those two documents that I highlighted earlier, and not one response mode, not one response from the ministry, nor from the fisheries department, not one response. And we have been at this for years now, whereby you call them out on certain things, and because you cannot be objective, because you are not supposed to have an opinion, you get massive pushback. And that's the reason why I said that I do not want to get into a back and forth with the fisher, because the sacrifices that the membership of the BFM have done over years, putting itself out there, you don't see these conservation organizations getting on the media out, calling out the government saying, hey, you didn't do this wrong, you didn't do that wrong. No, they won't, because they are receiving the money and they are part of the system.
Got it. Brother, I got to go to break, but thanks for the call, and this conversation continues.
Right.
Yeah.
Connect Chris.
right, welcome back. Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on this Monday morning, 11 November 2024. Mose Hyde hosting Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Right here on Creme Radio on XTV, and we are available on apps. We are on social media streams, Facebook, and of course we're on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel, XTV Belize, which we hope you don't only watch, but you're not subscribe. Because apparently there are people who will watch. A lot of people will watch, but they're not subscribed. They people think that, why should I? I know I get nothing. Or maybe in charge me that for free, and well, what you get, your preferred source of information being strengthened by your solidarity. You lift we, so we could lift you. So now a small thing, that's one button, and you press it, subscribe, and then it's done. We don't send you a bill. No, we might, eventually see you as part of a strength and figure ways how you could support you, because they're not an easy road. But beyond that, it's just to become a subscriber. So do it. All right. This morning we have spoken a bit about some of the lessons some of the things where some of the influences, some of the things where you could learn from a next person, even if that next person they're not a friend of yours. You could learn something from anybody. So we said that in the context of looking at the United States of America. We know that the empire, and we know that we don't know nothing to the empire like that. When they deal with small countries like Belize, are just for advance for them purpose and for their agenda, and that's the way they work. Then they look out for themselves, and with this new president, when they come in, they want to be more about themselves than they have ever been. Like, if that is possible, then we're even deeper into we, the ideology of just for we, just about Americans, and anything we they do about where we benefit them. Now that has always been the case, that's natural. But no, but I said no, we need to strengthen that, we need to double down upon that, triple down upon that. We get it. But that don't mean to say, just like how we learn some of the bad things through TV and everything else from there, that they are not things where we have to look upon and say, hey, that's how they do it. And I said that in light of the fact that we kind of know after last week, due to some of the trembling where they go on within the People's Constitution Committee, where they deal with the reform, we know that they're still active, apparently, and that then they're at the draft level of the things where they are proposed before the Constitution. And so we talk a little bit about some of the things were different. And one of the things were vastly different is that when you watch the election coverage last week, you know that somebody gets you, then choose somebody for president, then choose somebody for the senator, various states and whatever, and then choose somebody for the Congress, all over the place. But then choose a lot more than that. Then choose, I explained to you that the information we get shared with me out of California, that then choose about 19 different positions. President down, direct, judge, members of our board, attorney general, everybody that where the people in the side want to be. We don't know like that. We choose who want to be the head, who want to be the king, and then the king want to choose all the different positions. But more than that was the fact that they directly determined from a long list of proposals will change what they go on in for their state, for their community. And I was referring to one of those proposals, which was proposal 33, we deal with, should we limit the cost of rent, put one ceiling, because rent is a huge problem. If you got family in California or travel to California, you know that boy, a lot of people that make so much per hour, but when you deal with rent, for you to rent one apartment that LA or California, that's a big piece of money. We know, for example, we the face and reality in the Belize City Report, rent just to go up. We need to have a conversation about it, much as our vote on anything. And we don't have that culture of directly deciding as a people. We don't got the culture. Free referendum, that's an optical illusion, that's a mirage. It appears to be one availability report. You could challenge something or make one vote, but they make it as impossible as they could make it. And they don't have to follow it even after you get one successful vote within the referendum. So it is the classic mirage. It's just an illusion. Really got it. And I now have no constitutional expert status. But one of the things where I feel like just common sense, if you believe in a people power, you understand that we have to be more opportunity to make people decide directly upon the things when they want. When we go to vote, we not only supposed to vote for who will be with era rep. Because we never even vote for who will be the king or queen. We never even vote for that. We don't vote for who will be the prime minister. It's indirectly as a result of our voting a prime minister is chosen, but that a inner party thing that has been determined in a party that create all kind of tensions within the party, but within the party and the delegates and whatever formula they want to use determine who will be the potential person to be the boss. But we didn't even pick the boss. We pick the party way and rule. That's it. True, by picking who will be for we era rep. That's the vote we have. We vote for nothing else. We vote for no proposal. We have no referendum. We don't vote for who will be Auditor General. We don't vote for who will be for we DPP. We don't vote for none of them things there. We don't vote for who will be a judge. We don't vote for who will be on the Integrity Commission. Like we don't got. So we have to understand the limitation of we vote. They feel like, oh, we got the power for the people, by the people, we don't have democracy. Ultimately, how much say we have? And if we could examine that, in my view, my humble opinion, the extremely limited nature of where the people collectively get to decide and choose what journey we want to go upon, how we want to be. So, for example, in that proposal there, like, I have to figure out where I vote upon, where I vote here and there. Obviously, make a limit when. Apparently, the proposal it lost. Right? So, if you may want to protection against high rent, it never work out your favor. But next election cycle, then people will support and advocate for that could return back the proposal. Bring back the proposal. And many times, a proposal people might vote for a president when they like the proposal and people vote in support of the proposal. So some of the people may vote for you as president, but they say, no, but I like this proposal, I want this. That are people having a say. That are people choosing where will be their real in a Fidel community and in a Fidel nation. And so that's one of the things where I say, just like how we could learn pizza and we could learn American football and learn all of them things and the heroes and whatever, we could learn some of the things where they utilize for make power to the people got a true meaning. And that was one of the points that we kind of tried to flesh out earlier this morning. And then we ended up speaking on the matter of where we stand with our fisher folk and the reality that they are faced with based on what has been brought to light by the tremendous journalism effort of so many different journalists, but definitely the ones where we just exalt. And we know that high quality thing. Marisol Amaya and Marco Lopez, they both can be found on the website Mandela or in the recent issues of the Mandela newspaper. You can check it out for yourself. The last one coming, Code Red in the Blue, Marco Lopez. You need to read that. Right now, we go to a final break, come back and wrap up.
It's an
That's the way it's going to go today. We're out of time. We thank you for being here, health and strength. We return tomorrow morning, 6:30 for the Tuesday morning edition of Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Have yourselves a great Monday. We have to salute the team always. Larry G at Creme Radio, the glue at XTV, Mr. Cliff Lewis, and at the control today, Alex Sibilai. Stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Belize, wake up, Belize. 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 Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's all we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB.